Hi there, this is Amanda Frankel with our Crafty Playdate, and this is a spook card we are making in our Halloween class. The fun thing about this is only the center flips up and you just write in here. You could write with like a silver pen to be kind of creepy and spiderwebby, and that's what I plan to do. But if you don't have a pen like that, or you don't want to do something like that, you could always put another piece of cardstock in here, just a smaller one, a 4x3, and it would look like that. Obviously not printed, but you could do the same color, or you could do a little lighter, and that would work too. You probably don't want to go with white or vanilla, only because, you know, it's really stark compared to the rest of this card. It's kind of dark and creepy. Halloween, you don't have to write a lot. What's there to write? Boo, be scared. Sorry you can't go trick-or-treating this year. Something fun like that. But you want to get something out to them and probably send them some candy too. So this is a quick card, and I wanted to show you how, if you know lots of goblins, you could very quickly make this card in terms of prepping. So today we're not actually going to make the card. We're just going to prep multiple so that you can see how to go about cutting. Now, some important things to know. This card base is 5.5 by 4.25, which is exactly the size if you had a normal card. So here's a Christmas card. If you had a normal card, that would be the same size, right? But it's only one ply because your insert card is here. So this is, and you may want to take notes of the measurements because I'm not putting them in the descriptions below, only because I'm trying to get this done for you. But this is just a 1/4 piece of cardstock, okay? This one here is 3.25 by double this card. So if this card is 4.25 here, it's 8.5. 8.5 if you think about it. So let's do it this way. 8.5 is this width here. So this is just one cut of that. The purple is 1/4 of this. So you can see how easy this is going to be to prep. These strips are 3/4 of an inch wide, and they are 4 inches top to bottom, only because you want a little piece there. So those are super easy too. Let's get cutting. Let's get cutting. All right, the first thing that I am going to cut is this designer series paper. This designer series paper is from our new holiday catalog. And this is, I'm going to show you the paper here because it's kind of cool. Very cool. Bats. This, you could just do autumn or, yes, super creepy Halloween. Orange in the same. This bats we're using in another card. I'll show you another time. The orange with the creepies, or this you could use another time. This also could be used another time other than Halloween, so that gives you some flexibility. And there's this one that we're using today. So let's grab our trimmer and get started. All right, so I know that this piece here has got to be 3 inches. I told you this is 3.25 wide, right? So this is going to be 3 by, this is, if this right here is 4.25 tall, it's going to be 4. So it's 3 by 4. Super easy to cut, right? Especially with this trimmer, because this trimmer is able to cut 2 pieces of designer series paper at a time. So I want my spiders kind of going up and down. So this is mostly up and down, I would say. And so that is going to be up and down is this way. So that's going to be 3 inches wide. So let's cut it at 3 inches wide. To make this really fast, my first cut is going to be at 6. Right? Now, I'm going to try and not say right after I do every single move. Now, I'm going to layer them. I've got my 2 on top of each other, and I'm going to put it in at 3 inches. Okay, that's 3 inches. And now I need to make them 4 inches tall. So my first cut is going to be, and you could just do it at 4 and slide it, or you can pull this arm out, which is what I like to do. I'm going to cut 2 at a time here. And I am going to put it to the 8 here, 8 inches. 2. Put this, go to the 4. So I went from 8 to 4, and there's one stack. Layer these up. Go to the 8 again. I could probably do more than 2 layers of designer series paper at a time, but I really don't need to do that right now. I'm not crushed for time. This is just showing you how to cut. I've got 12 of these now. So one piece of designer series paper is going to make 12 cards, no waste at all. All right, good. So we've got that. We're gonna put that stack right up here. The next thing, let's cut the bases here, because they're also very not complicated. No waste again. Okay, we're gonna try that again. So I had to cut for a second because I got distracted being so happy to see you and all, that I cut one of these papers wrong. So I have already cut my designer series paper, and now I am cutting the bases. I need 3 pieces because it's just a quarter of each thing. So I am just going to go ahead and cut each one in half and then in half. So 5.5, because it's 8.5 by 11, I'm cutting it at 5.5. And then 4.25. I cut the other one at 4 by accident because, you know, happy to see ya. All right, 4.25 here. All right, so there's 4. So since I'm making 12 cards with this, I am just gonna do the same exact thing 3 times. And I could probably cut 2 layers of this at a time, but because I just made a boo-boo, which I'll show you how I'll fix that in just a minute, I'm cutting this at 4.25. It doesn't really matter that I made that boo-boo. I should have just kept the film rolling. Okay, and my last one is 5.5. And then 4.25. And 4.25. Okay, so now I have cut for you now 12 of these, 12 of these, and now we're gonna cut these black pieces here. So I would love to keep talking to you while I'm doing this, but I probably will be super distracted. So the way that I knew to use this Blackberry Bliss paper is because the paper, the designer series paper I showed you called Magic in This Night, actually has the colors listed here of the different colors in it, and one of them is Blackberry Bliss, so that's what I'm using. Makes it very simple for you. All right, so I've got those pieces, and now I'm going to cut the black. The black is 3.25, because I wanted this to be 3, right? 3 wide, so this is 3.25 by 8.5. Super simple to do. But here is the real trick. You're gonna put your paper like this because it is, you're gonna do it this long way. You're just gonna trust me. All right, I don't know why you trust me after the last thing. The first cut that you wanna make here, we're going to cut off 1/2 inch. So you can do it just on this side. So that would be 1/4, here's 1/2. See where the 1 is here? That makes it 1 inch. So we're at 1/2, and we are cutting that off. All right, and this is your waist. That's it. Now we are going to cut 3/4 off. So that is right here. Save this for later. All right. Okay. Now we're going to take this and rotate it 90 degrees. Move our cutting blade out of the way. This is still 8.5 wide. All right. So at 4.25 right here, 4.25, I'm going to score it. Okay, there you go. And I've just rotated it again, so my score now is going to be horizontal, and I am going to cut each one at 3.25 wide. So here's 3.25, 1, 3.25, 2, And this one should be 3 1/4, 3. All right, so here's my 3 1/4 by 8 1/2, and they're already scored. So now when I put them on a card right here, it's already taken care of. I just made it really fast for myself, and I've got 3. So since I have 3 of these, I'm going to need to do that 4 times. So now I should be able to talk to you, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. It was not too successful before. All right, so I'm cutting off 1/2 inch first. This is my waist right here. Then I'm gonna cut off 3/4 inch, and you're wondering why I'm doing that. There is a purpose to my madness here, a reason for my madness. I'm gonna rotate it 90 degrees, go to 4 1/4, and score it. Rotate it back and do 3 1/4, 3 1/4, and the last is 3 1/4. So just gonna keep going here. Cut off 1/2 inch waist, 3/4 inch, set it aside, rotate it 90 degrees, 4 1/4, score, rotate it back. So I hope you guys are all doing well. This, the quarantining is starting to kind of get to my family. It's a little bit like The Shining here. My school, for my elementary and middle school kids, they went back to school. Oh, how many do I have here? Did I do all of them already? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nope, I need one more. Okay, here we go. All right, so let me get back on track here. So my kids have gone back. I'm putting it at 1/2 inch, cutting, waist, 3/4 inch, setting aside, rotating it, 4 1/4, scoring, rotate it back, 3 1/4. So my kids are in school just one day a week in person, and that gives them a chance to do any testing that they need to do, turn stuff in, that kind of thing. Okay, so 12, 12, 12. And I have, these are my waist pieces from my 4 black things. I'm going to toss these on the floor. I will use them again later. These are my 3/4 inch strips. So they are 3/4 inch, I believe, by 8 1/2, right? Yeah, okay. They are 8 1/2. That is the width of these. That is the width of these. They're just too long because these need to be 4. So I'm gonna cut 1/2 inch off each one as I go here. I'm gonna move this up so you guys can see the edge here. So 1/2 inch is right here. See it right there. And I'm just gonna trim that off and go 4 inches. And these are, oh, this is waist. Okay, this little piece, no big deal. So that is enough for one card there. So each of these will be enough for 1 card. So this will give me 4 cards worth of these. And then I will only need 8 more cards of them. And I'm gonna show you how to do that too, because I love you that much. And as you can see, if you plan it out before you start cutting and you only make one mistake like I did earlier, then you can get your stuff done and still get goblin cards made and have fun doing it, but not make it a whole day project. Okay, so I have enough here for 4 cards. I need 8 more cards worth. So here is what I'm going to do. I am going to take a piece of black, 8 1/2 by 11 again, And I am going to cut off 5.5 inches, just right off the top, right here. I'm gonna close this because I don't really need it right now. Okay, I'm gonna cut off 5.5 inches because I don't need the entire sheet of black. I want to do what I can to minimize my waste. So now this is a card base, like a normal standard card, and I put that in a little file, and then the next time I need a black card base, it's already cut for me. I only need this much paper. All right, so it is 5.5, and this is going to be 8.5. I don't need 8.5. I need 8, right? If I'm going to cut it in half. So this is 8.5 here. So I'm going to cut 1/2 inch off right here. Okay, and so now this should be 8. I shouldn't have closed that. I knew I left it open before for a reason. Okay, so this should be 8 right now, and I need it to be 4. Because that's how wide these strips are. And now each one, I just need to cut it to be 3/4. And you know what? If I had thought about that, I knew I was doing something crazy here. I would have cut the 3/4 inch strips before I cut the other ones, and it would have saved me some time. But you're getting the idea here, so that's good. That's a piece here. Quarters. So as you can see, I really have not wasted that much paper. Because I saved that other base. I didn't just mangle it and then just have this piece that I'm never going to use again. Right? I definitely will use a black card base. Probably could use a black card base during Halloween, I'm just saying. Got that kind of going crazy. So I have here, let's see how many I have now. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So I just need 10 more, and I think I can get them out of here, can I? Let's see. Maybe or maybe not. Oh, 15. I don't know why I have that one. And I'm just chopping away while I don't talk at all. You know, that's a quiet experience you're not used to with me, huh? Okay. All right, so let's recount here. Here's enough for 1 card, 2 cards, 3 cards, 4 cards, 5 cards, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, so I would have to cut 12. Sorry, threw those off to the side. All right, so now I have enough for 12 of these cards ready to go. All I would have to do is punch these out, and these are done with for this it's a die in the Celebrations die, and I'm not going to do that right now. I can do that when I actually make the card. But earlier when I was cutting my Blackberry Bliss, I cut it, instead of cutting this in half at 4 1/4, I cut 4 inches off. So I would just use this now to cut. Ooh, knocked my pearl off, my pretty pearl. I would just use that to make my dies, and I would just cut them out of this piece that I kind of made a mistake on. But as you can see, overall, there's very, very little waste, and it's very quick to prep. I've got 12 cards ready to go. All I need to do is cut some of these out and cut some ribbon, and I'm ready. So thank you very much for stopping by. I hope that you learned a little bit about cutting and why you want to pay attention before you cut. I use my grid paper all the time just to kind of plan out how I need to cut so that I can make sure that I cut in a smart way so that I don't end up with a lot of waste. I don't mind if I have, you know, some of these things, these little pieces I'm not going to use. I got all of my stuff very quickly and easily. And you also want to think about, when you're planning your card, how you're going to be able to get the most out of it. I could have made this a little bit wider, but this designer series paper, but if I had gone to 3 1/4, I wouldn't be able to get 12 out of a 12 by 12 piece of paper. And by doing that, I'm able to get more cards. So just when you think about that, so since I knew that this was going to be 3 by 4, then I knew how wide this black strip needed to be. All right, I hope that helped. I hope you enjoyed watching me cut and even make a mistake for you. You know, opportunity for learning. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you do not have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours. If you do have one, please support them right now. In this era right now, it's very tough for some families, and some of the money that they are using when they get this is actually paying bills. It's not just their fun money anymore. So thank you for supporting Stampin' Up! Demonstrators all over. Have a great day. Bye-bye.